Welcome to TimeBeat Breaking News Channel. Here are our breaking news today. 1. The U.S. agrees to waive intellectual property rights for the COVID-19 vaccine. 2. Melinda French Gates gets billions in shares from Cascade.
The United States. The U.S. agrees to waive intellectual property rights for the COVID-19 vaccine. The U.S. has backed the suspension of some intellectual property rights for COVID-19 vaccines, which could ramp up the production of jabs for poorer countries. During World Trade Organization (WTO) talks, the U.S. Trade Representative Katherine Tai said the Biden administration believes strongly in intellectual property protections, but in service of ending this pandemic, supports the waiver of those protections for COVID-19 vaccines. The temporary waiver on IP rights would allow more manufacturers to produce the vaccines. The announcement came on Wednesday, hours after WTO Director General Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala spoke to a closed-door meeting of ambassadors for richer and poorer countries, who have been arguing over the issue. The argument, part of a long-running debate about intellectual property protections, centers on lifting patents, copyrights and protections for industrial design and confidential information to help expand the production and deployment of vaccines during supply shortages. While more than 100 countries support the proposal, opponents argue the waiver will not be the answer. Many, especially from within the industry, argue the move could hurt future innovation, and say due to the complexities of making vaccines, waiving IP rights won't necessarily speed up production. Pfizer declined to comment on Biden's announcement, as did Johnson & Johnson, which developed a one-dose vaccine meant to ease vaccination campaigns in poor and rural areas. Moderna and AstraZeneca didn't immediately respond to requests for comment.
The United States. Melinda French Gates gets billions in shares from Cascade. Cascade Investment, the holding company created by Bill Gates, transferred stock in two of Mexico's largest companies to Melinda French Gates, bringing the total amount she's received in the past few days to more than $2 billion. Cascade moved stock worth more than $500 million in Coca-Cola FEMSA and Grupo Televisa to her control, according to regulatory filings dated May 3, the same day the Gateses announced they were ending their 27-year marriage. Cascade shifted about $1.8 billion of shares in Canadian National Railway Company and AutoNation Incorporated this week to French Gates, Bloomberg reported Tuesday. Their separation is expected to involve the transfer of property on a capital scale that has only been seen in a few other divorces, though some details have yet to appear. It could also fork over one of the most important charities on the planet. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has donated more than $50 billion to support health care, education, gender equality and efforts to combat climate change. Gates, the 65-year-old co-founder of Microsoft Corporation, has a net worth of $144.2 billion, according to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index. French Gates, 56 years old, is a former director of Microsoft, who gained international fame when co-running the fund and recently founded Pivotal Ventures, an investment and incubation company that promotes communal progress assembly in the U.S. The divorce took place 2 years after the announcement of separation in 2019 of Jeff Bezos and Scott McKenzie, a couple of other technology billionaires in Washington state. That split resulted in a split of 16% of the pair's shares in Amazon.com Inc., of which Bezos received a 75% stake and Scott 25%. Thank you for watching. We help you stay up to date all the news hourly. Please subscribe our channel to follow up the latest one.